Hey, what's up, guys? This is Fede here back with another video after a long time of not doing a video. I was in a bit of a slump, to be honest, and I'm going to tell you more about it in a moment. But yeah, this is just a tier list of the books that I've read so far this year. Just as a contrast, last year I read like 80 something books, right, in the year. And if you look at this list, I mean, we're almost in June already, half of the year, and I've read 27 books. So, yeah. The thing is that now I don't have, I mean, I still read every day, right? But I really don't have the time, um, the same amount of time because I have two jobs. I'm a professor during the mornings and I'm a translator on the during the afternoons. And then yeah, I don't really have a lot of free time. And then I have a girlfriend as well, and that takes time. So yeah, yeah. Let's just go ahead and go in order here. The first book that I read this year was The Immortal by Jorge Luis Borges. Now this is a short story, and if I mean this is like 20, 30 pages. I really don't know how long it is, but this is definitely an S tier story for me. The Immortal is just what would it be like if a human actually had the ability to be immortal, right? What is the philosophy that that surrounds his life, right? And the reflections that Borges does there are fantastic. Now, the next book that I read this year, I believe it was Howling Dark. Now, I gotta tell you, I wasn't a fan of Howling Dark as much as some of you guys were. I did like the book, and but it wasn't like a 5 star for me, not at all. Actually, the first half of the book it was pretty slow, and at the end, the last quarter, I want to say, that got really good. So for me, it's a high B tier. And then I read War and Peace. You know, this behemoth of a book. I read this at the beginning of this year. I don't really know if I started this one last year and I finished it this year, but yeah, I finished this one this year. So War and Peace, man. I mean, I gotta tell you, everyone who reads this will tell you that it's an S tier. For me, there was not enough war in War and Peace. There's too uh, many bourgeoisie meandering. You know, for me, it's an A plus. It's an A book, A tier. It's a classic that you need to read sooner or later. But yeah, it's an A tier. Now, The Wandering Inn, and here I'm gonna tell you something. I really enjoy this book. For me, it was an A tier book. And the whoa, what just happened? What? Hold up a moment, guys. Okay, there we go. So the thing is, yeah, The Wandering was great, right? The first book. That's the only book I've read so far. But I made the executive decision of not reading any more Wandering In books uh, because I have a lot of books to read, and those books take a lot of time, and I really don't know if I want to invest all of that time for a story that's not even done yet, and it's longer than The Wheel of Time. I'm going to start The Wheel of Time this summer, and I don't even know if I'm going to finish that one. So, but yeah, The Wandering. I know that it's a great story, great characters, but I'm hoping of the both, and yeah, I'm not going to continue that series. So then I believe I read a Raymond E. Feist Silverthorn. This is a B tier easily. It's departure from the first two books, right? On Magician Apprentice and Magician Master, we follow these two characters, Pug and Thomas, right? But here in the third book, the story takes you someplace else, and the truth is that the story is not really that interesting without those characters as the main focus of the story, right? So yeah, it's a B tier, but I'm going to finish the Rift War saga, the first trilogy, and yeah, I'm going to finish that one. I'm going to read A Darkness at Sethanon probably next month. So yeah, and then I'm going to wrap that up. Then we have here the Three Body Problem. Now this is a nice book, no doubt about it. It is for many a problematic book because apparently the author Cixin Liu is a communist, but I don't really care about that, man. I mean, he's Chinese. I mean, what do you expect? And sorry guys, that was my alarm. And but yeah, the Three Body Problem. That's an S. Really, really cool science fiction, slow burning, and really, really good premise. Now, next, I read a Dostoevsky Notes from Underground. This is a short, short book, and I read exactly this edition that I have here, and it also has another stories there which I read, but let's just count it as one and do Notes from Underground. It's a pessimistic book. It's the life of a horrible, horrible man that has a horrible life, and I love it. I love those stories. I don't know why. I like the present stories. Then let's go with the Count of Monte Cristo, which I read this one, the Penguin Classics edition, and this is of course a five. I mean, sorry, an S tier book, which you know, let's just go ahead and put it in front of the Immortal. Just because the Immortal is a short story and the Count is like, fuck, it's like, uh, if not as large as War and Peace, right? But it's the classic story of revenge, and it was pretty good. I've never read that book before, but yeah. Then after reading, or it was before, I don't remember. No, it was after, I believe. Yeah, it was after. So after reading Howling Dark, I read Queen Amid Ashes, a short story from the Sun Eater series that was pretty cool, and I also read Volume One of the Sun Eater uh, Tales from the Sun Eater, I believe it's called, and it was pretty good as well. So those go on the B tier for me. And then I reread the Discourse on the Method by Rene Descartes, and I don't even know how to classify this book, man, because philosophically, this book was revolutionary, right? So I think that I have to put that here in the S tier. It's a pretty short book as well, but I mean, shit, I don't know. I like that book. I reread this book this year. Um, but you know, if you're into philosophy, that's like you have to read that one. Then I read Delirium Tremens, which is a series of interviews the author does on to alcoholics, right, and the hallucinations that they have, and it's pretty cool. I gotta be honest, it's pretty cool, and it doesn't judge the people there um, for being alcoholics. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Totally recommend that. This is A tier for me. Then I read Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy Volume One, which is a big volume, like 900 pages of pure Astro Boy, the beginnings of Astro Boy. And I gotta say, man, this is an A tier for me because sometimes on these stories, the writer itself, Osamu Tezuka, will come into the story and explain to you why he wrote that, what was the social context of the story, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. I haven't continued that series either, and I have already in digital the I believe are these are 4 or 5 volumes. I really don't know, but yeah, I just haven't had the energy to go back to Astro Boy. It's a pretty big book. Then I read Breve Tratado del Corazón, which is book by Anna Clavel, and she talks there about love. It's not a bad book, but not a great one either. So this is B tier for me. Then I read the sequel to the Three Body Problem, The Dark Forest, and The Dark Forest is a good book as well. Not as good as the Three Body Problem, because the first half as well is pretty slow. That's how Cixin Liu writes. After the middle portion of the book, then the story really starts to amp up, right? And for me, yeah, it goes right here, A tier, right below The Wandering. Then, what else do we have here? The Books of Jacob. This is A tier, no doubt, no doubt about it. And yeah, it's just a story of a fake messiah in Eastern Europe, and the book is insane. It mixes historical fiction and magical realism, everything, bro. It's great, and it has a lot of images without context, and it's a great read. Then I read Sábado Domingo by Ray Loriga, which is another great book by him. I recommended this writer several times in my channel, and if you can get a hold of any of his books, really, that will be great. I really don't know if his books are translated though. So Sábado Domingo goes on A tier over here. Then I started reading. So for John Constantine, um, I read the run of Garth Ennis, right? But I never read before the run by Jamie Delano, which is the one who actually started the Hellblazer like series, right? I mean, Alan Moore created it, the character itself in Swamp Thing, but then Jamie Delano took over the series when they greenlit it. So I gotta be honest, man. These are not good stories. You can tell. And where's the second volume? I have it here. The first two volumes of Jamie Delano's Hellblazer. I mean, you can tell that the writer and everyone was trying to figure out who Constantine was, right? And the stories suffer from that because today we already know who Constantine is, and but here they were still trying to figure it out. And I mean, if you're into the character, as I am, I really liked the Garth Ennis run, and I wanted to read the beginnings of the character. Right now, I'm reading the third volume. I believe there's a total of five that Jamie Delano did, so I'm going to read them all, but I'm going to take it slow. Then another graphic novel, Day Tripper. Day Tripper. This is an S tier book, no doubt about it. It deals with the different ways that we can take our life. Uh, in different directions and different paths, or what happens if we die at certain points in our lives, what happens if we take a lot longer to die. It's just a reflection on longevity, and it's pretty cool. Then the Sword of Kaigen. Now, the Sword of Kaigen, yeah, the Sword of Kaigen, it's better than Howling Dark for me, and but it's not better than Astro Boy. But I really don't want to give it an A because it wasn't an A story. So I'm going to put it at the top of the B's. Then I read the third and fourth volume on Transmetropolitan. These are just fun stories, man. Volume 3 and 4 of Spider Jerusalem, journalist, a crazy motherfucker. So yeah, if you haven't read Transmetropolitan yet, this is a story by Warren Ellis about a futuristic setting, and we're following a journalist, right? Spider Jerusalem, and he tackles everything, man, from politics, social culture, and he hates everyone, right? And it's pretty funny, but also has a lot of insight. Then I just read history. Well, yeah, history. It's the history of stand up from Mark Twain to Dave Chappelle. It's a really interesting book. It's a really quick read as well. So that's going on the beast because it wasn't anything special, but it was informative. So yeah. Then I read Chess Story by Stefan Sieg. I really don't know how to say the last name. So this is an S tier book for me. This was actually the last book he wrote before he died. He killed himself with his wife during the Second World War because I mean they were Jewish, and they fled to Brazil, I believe, and they saw how Hitler rose to power and everything, and they just decided to kill themselves, and that's tragic. And it's a great, great story. I'm going to put it right here, just below Dostoevsky. Then I read another Stefan book. This is the Spanish title, Mendel, el de los libros. So that will translate as Mendel, the bibliophile. I really something like that. But yeah, this is a really short story as well, and I'm going to put it right here. And it deals with the attack on Jewish people um, during the war as well. It's tragic. And then the last book I finished this year, Outbringer by Sanderson. Now, Words of Radiance, I really loved that book. Right, it was great. It was fantastic. And the first book, The Way of Kings, I didn't like it. Now, Outbringer, this one's in the middle of that. So, Words of Radiance was an S tier for me, and The Way of Kings, the first one, was a C tier for me. Didn't like it at all. It's too slow, too boring. And Oldbringer, I gotta tell you, man, for me, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great. I mean, it's better than these short stories, but better than Howling Dark? I don't believe so. Maybe better than Silverthorn. No better than Howling Dark. Yeah, I hope that the I'm going to read Rhythm of War maybe later this year. I'm hoping, but yeah, I just want at this point these books always get me into a reading slump, so that's why I'm taking it so slow with them, right? And while reading Oldbringer, I just wanted to finish the book, and I was in such a slump that I put aside Demon in White by Christopher Rocchio for like a month, right? And I'm going to start reading it again. And yeah, I just wanted to be done with Oathbringer. And yeah, right now I'm back. I'm back reading Demon in White, and what else am I reading physically? I mean, I should have it here. Well, I don't have the book, but I do have the dust cover here because I always take this off while reading. It's That in Her Hands by Atessa Mossberg. I'm planning to do a video on her. She's a great, great writer. And yeah, that's what I'm physically reading. So yeah, that was my tier ranking for this past 5 months. And as you can see, these are not a lot of books, and I'm disappointed by that. But I think I have a week now that I already like I finally I started to like put myself together regarding my schedule, right? I know when I'm going to work. I know exactly the time I'm going to get off, and the free time that I'm going to have to read. And yeah, let's hope this gets better. Let's hope this gets better. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to do a quick video. I don't know how long this is, but yeah, have a good one.